Thank you, Mr. President. I am going to share with the Senate today some of my expertise of outside of the Senate as a physician. And I wanted to talk to you today as we begin this session and we look back on what's happened over the last year and the last month. And in medicine, it's really important that you are specific when you identify an issue. And in psychology, it's really important that you identify emotions accurately, because when you do, you're better able to manage them and to deal with situations and resolve them. And I want to talk to you today about something called motive attribution asymmetry. I know it's a lot of words. I often have to look it up because I forget. But motive attribution asymmetry is a psychological term that talks about one group's belief that their rivals are motivated by emotions opposite their own. So to kind of break that down, one group believes they're truly motivated by good, and the other group, their contrarian group, is motivated by evil, not disagreement, not by other motivations, but it breaks down on a very primeval level. Attribution is how we explain behaviors we see and what happens. So motive attribution asymmetry. And this is really, really important as the research is done. Dr. Young from Boston College, who's done a lot of expert research on this, says it's interesting to see that people can be blind to the source of behavior on the other side. That you can go from saying you're motivated by love of your own group, and you can't seem to apply that reasoning to the other side. She says there's a mismatch between what I think my group's motive is and what you think my group's motive is. There definitely seems to be an error or bias in the way that happens. There's a lot of research on this. I'm not going to go into it in detail, but Arabs and Israelis in the Middle East are one example group where they've studied this and found it to be accurate. And believe it or not, in America, Republicans and Democrats are equally vitriolic about having this asymmetry. So this is really important. And that's where we get more into the psychology. When you look at this, people often say that the problem in America is incivility or intolerance, but that's not correct based on what the experts say. Motive attribution asymmetry leads to something worse: contempt. Contempt is important because it creates a sense of rejection, which actually creates a biochemistry in your bloodstream of adrenaline and cortisol, which are the stress hormones. And they actually, I always tell my kids, don't get stressed before a test. Relax once you've studied, because if you go dump that cortisol and that adrenaline, you can't think. You can't come up with the answer on your test. And that's what's happening in America as we discuss issues. And maybe that's part of the problem, is that we're not discussing issues, because the solution for motive attribution asymmetry is not less disagreement, it's more. It's disagreement and discussion, because competition is good. Disagreement helps us innovate, improve, and find the truth. One proposed intervention for this is correcting misperceptions of opposing partisans and encouraging people to engage in cross-party interactions. E.L. Finkel from Science observes, these differences exist more in people's heads than in reality. There's a whole lot of common ground, but Americans struggle to see it. Finkel offers that simply reminding people of what they have in common reduces out-party hate. A related idea is to instill intellectual humility, such as by asking people to explain policy difference at a mechanistic level, not an ideological or emotional, but at a mechanistic level. Leaders of civic, religious, and media organizations committed to bridging divides can look to such strategies to reduce intellectual self-righteousness that can contribute to political sectarianism. Well, you know what I'm saying. Didn't pronounce it right. So guys, listen, I'm here to say this starts with us. We all know each other. We are all so proud of the relationships we use in the Senate to accomplish great things for Virginia with dignity. So I think we have to challenge ourselves for that intellectual humility, ask each other what we really mean. And I think this is a foundation. I'm going to use this word again. I'm going to bring it back up because when we can identify when we're going off track, I think we can fix it, and it has to start somewhere. It's probably not going to start on Facebook, but it might start here. So I just wanted to take a moment, Mr. President, and make those comments. Thank you.